Elements of Critical Thinking by Albert Rutherford. Elements of Critical Thinking by Albert Rutherford is a self-development and thinking skills book that focuses on helping readers improve the way they think, reason, and make decisions. In an age of information overload, emotional manipulation, social media influence, and constant noise, the ability to think clearly and logically has become one of the most important life skills. This book aims to build that skill step by step. Albert Rutherford emphasizes that critical thinking is not an inborn talent limited to intellectuals or philosophers. Instead, it is a practical skill that anyone can learn, practice, and improve over time. The book is written in a simple, accessible style and focuses heavily on real-life application rather than abstract theory. The central idea of the book is that most problems in life, bad decisions, poor relationships, financial mistakes, career failures, and emotional stress, are the result of unclear or faulty thinking. By learning to think critically, individuals can gain control over their thoughts, reduce errors in judgment, and live more intentional and successful lives. Chapter 1. Understanding. Critical Thinking. Critical thinking, as explained in the book, is the disciplined process of actively analyzing, evaluating, and improving one's thinking. It involves questioning information rather than accepting it blindly. Rutherford clarifies that critical thinking does not mean being cynical, argumentative, or negative. Instead, it means being curious, open-minded, and logically consistent. The author explains that critical thinking has three core components. 1. Awareness of one's own thinking process. 2. Ability to evaluate information objectively. 3. Willingness to change one's mind when evidence demands it. Most people think automatically, relying on habits, emotions, and social conditioning. Critical thinkers slow down this process and consciously examine their thoughts before acting on them. Chapter 2. Why most people think poorly. Rutherford explains that humans are not naturally logical thinkers. Our brains evolved to help us survive, not to reason perfectly. As a result, people often rely on shortcuts called heuristics. While these shortcuts save time and energy, they frequently lead to errors. Some Rutherford is a self-development and thinking skills book that focuses on helping readers improve the way they think, reason, and make decisions. In an age of information overload, emotional manipulation, social media influence, and constant noise, the ability to think clearly and logically has become one of the most important life skills. This book aims to build that skill step by step. Albert Rutherford emphasizes that critical thinking is not an inborn talent limited to intellectuals or philosophers. Instead, it is a practical skill that anyone can learn, practice, and improve over time. The book is written in a simple, accessible style and focuses heavily on real-life application rather than abstract theory. The central idea of the book is that most problems in life, bad decisions, poor relationships, financial mistakes, career failures, and emotional stress, are the result of unclear or faulty thinking. By learning to think critically, individuals can gain control over their thoughts, reduce errors in judgment, and live more intentional and successful lives. Chapter 1. Understanding Critical Thinking. Critical thinking, as explained in the book, is the disciplined process of actively analyzing, evaluating, and improving one's thinking. It involves questioning information rather than accepting it blindly. Rutherford clarifies that critical thinking does not mean being cynical, argumentative, or negative. Instead, it means being curious, open-minded, and logically consistent. The author explains that critical thinking has three core components. 1. Awareness of one's own thinking process. 2. Ability to evaluate information objectively. 3. Willingness to change one's mind when evidence demands it. Most people think automatically, relying on habits, emotions, and social conditioning. Critical thinkers slow down this process and consciously examine their thoughts before acting on them. Chapter 2. Why most people think poorly. Rutherford explains that humans are not naturally logical thinkers. Our brains evolved to help us survive, not to reason perfectly. As a result, people often rely on shortcuts called heuristics. While these shortcuts save time and energy, they frequently lead to errors. Some reasons people think poorly include emotional attachment to beliefs, desire for social approval, fear of uncertainty, mental laziness, overconfidence. The author stresses that recognizing our natural tendency toward flawed thinking is the first step toward improvement. Chapter 3. The role of emotions in thinking. One of the most important themes of the book is the relationship between emotions and thinking. Rutherford explains that emotions are powerful and necessary, but they often interfere with rational judgment. Emotional thinking occurs when people make decisions based on fear, anger, or excitement, justify actions after the fact, ignore evidence that causes discomfort. The book teaches readers to pause during emotional moments and separate feelings from facts. This does not mean suppressing emotions, but rather acknowledging them without allowing them to dominate decision-making. Chapter 4. Cognitive biases and mental traps. Albert Rutherford explains that cognitive biases are systematic patterns of deviation from rational judgment. These mental shortcuts help the brain process information quickly, but they often lead to distorted thinking and poor decisions. Some of the most common cognitive biases include confirmation bias, the tendency to seek and believe information that supports existing beliefs while ignoring opposing evidence. Availability bias, judging situations based on information that is easily recalled rather than actual facts. Anchoring bias, relying too heavily on the first piece of information received. Bandwagon effect, accepting beliefs simply because many others believe them. Overconfidence bias, overestimating one's knowledge or accuracy. The author emphasizes that recognizing these biases is essential for improving judgment and decision-making. Chapter 5. Assumptions and belief systems. Assumptions are beliefs that people accept as true without proper examination. Rutherford explains that many assumptions are formed through upbringing, culture, education, and social influence. Critical thinkers regularly challenge their assumptions by asking, "Why do I believe this? Where did this belief originate? Is there strong evidence to support it? What if the opposite were true?" Questioning assumptions allows individuals to think freely and avoid being unconsciously controlled by outdated or incorrect beliefs. Chapter 6. Asking powerful questions. According to Rutherford, the quality of thinking depends largely on the quality of questions asked. Good questions expose hidden flaws and lead to deeper understanding. Examples of critical thinking questions include: what evidence supports this claim? Is the source reliable? Are there alternative explanations? What are the consequences of this belief? Who benefits if this is accepted as true? The book encourages readers to replace passive consumption of information with active inquiry. Chapter 7. Facts versus opinions. Many people confuse opinions with facts. Rutherford clearly distinguishes between the two. Facts are verifiable and independent of personal feelings. Opinions are interpretations, beliefs, or judgments. Critical thinkers learn to identify whether a statement is factual, interpretive, or emotional. This skill is especially important in media consumption, politics, and social discussions. Chapter 8. Logical reasoning and argument evaluation. The book introduces the basics of logical reasoning in a simple manner. Readers learn how arguments are structured using premises and conclusions. Rutherford explains common logical fallacies such as straw man arguments, false dilemmas, ad hominem attacks, slippery slope reasoning. By recognizing fallacies, readers can avoid being misled and improve their own arguments. Chapter 9. Decision-making frameworks. A major practical benefit of critical thinking is better decision-making. Rutherford presents a structured approach. 1. Clearly define the problem. 2. Gather relevant information. 3. Evaluate evidence objectively. 4. Consider multiple options. 5. Anticipate consequences. 6. Make a reasoned choice. 7. Review the outcome. This framework helps reduce impulsive and emotionally driven decisions. Chapter 10. Problem-solving skills. Critical thinking enhances problem-solving by encouraging clarity and systematic analysis. Rutherford advises breaking complex problems into smaller components and addressing them one at a time. He also emphasizes the importance of distinguishing between symptoms and root causes. Solving symptoms leads to temporary relief, while solving root causes creates lasting solutions. Chapter 11. Critical thinking in everyday life. The book shows how critical thinking applies to career choices, financial decisions, relationships, health and lifestyle media consumption. Rutherford provides examples where poor thinking leads to long-term consequences, while thoughtful reasoning leads to stability and growth. Chapter 12. Independent thinking and social pressure. Humans are social beings, and social pressure strongly influences beliefs. The author explains how fear of rejection often prevents people from thinking independently. Critical thinkers learn to respect others' opinions without blindly accepting them. Stand by evidence-based beliefs, remain open to correction. Independent thinking requires courage but leads to authenticity. Chapter 13. Open-mindedness and intellectual humility. Rutherford emphasizes that true critical thinkers are humble. They recognize the limits of their knowledge and remain open to new information. Open-mindedness does not mean accepting everything. It means being willing to consider evidence fairly before accepting or rejecting ideas. Chapter 14. Developing critical thinking as a habit. Critical thinking is not a one-time skill, but a daily practice. The book suggests reflecting on decisions, reading diverse viewpoints, slowing down reactions, journaling thoughts, learning from mistakes. Over time, these habits strengthen mental discipline. Chapter 15. Long-term benefits of critical thinking. Rutherford concludes by explaining the long-term advantages: better decision-making, reduced stress and confusion, improved communication, greater self-confidence, increased success and clarity. Critical thinking empowers individuals to take control of their lives rather than reacting blindly to circumstances. Conclusion. Elements of Critical Thinking is a practical guide to clearer thinking and wiser living. Albert Rutherford's message is simple yet powerful. The quality of your life depends largely on the quality of your thinking. By learning to question assumptions, manage emotions, recognize biases, and reason logically, anyone can improve their decisions and outcomes. The book encourages readers to become active thinkers rather than passive consumers of information. In a world full of noise, critical thinking is not just a skill. It is a necessity for freedom, success, and personal growth.